Embiid versus Butler. But do you believe in heat culture? And who will win this play-in tournament? We'll talk about that and more next on Locked On 76ers.
You are Locked On 76ers, your daily Philadelphia 76ers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On 76ers your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast and on YouTube. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Well, today we got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about the matchups, but it doesn't have to be head-to-head matchups at all times because there's going to be a lot of switching, a lot of things going on. But we're going to talk about some matchups. And then the second segment, we're going to talk about this heat culture. You know, there's certain guys, when you bring it up, they get quiet. Like, I don't want to talk about that. There's other guys who say they believe in it. They believe in it. That Pat Riley has these guys, you know, believing in stuff, winning, have a winning culture, doing everything you need to do. And then thirdly, what's a day of a game podcast without talking about who's going to win this game, giving our picks for this. So we're going to start it off. But Mitch, to you, when we look at it, when we talk about matchups, to me, initially, you know, the first matchup that comes to mind is Tobias Harris against Jimmy Butler.
Yep.
And meaning like, you know, Tobias may have to guard him, or maybe Kelly Oubre, you know. So those are the two matchups. But really, a lot of mixes is like who's going to will their team to win.
Right.
And that's going to be is it going to be Joel Embiid against Jimmy Butler? Now they're not going to play against each other. They're not going to guard each other. They're not going to do anything. But which superstar is going to step up and make the plays necessary for his teammates to get this victory tonight, right? So there's a lot of now poor souls, whoever's been guarding Tyrese Maxey, at least the last two games, they've been suffered. Now, in 4 games against this team, Tyrese is averaging 27.3. So whoever matches up against him is going to have to do a better job than he did the last time. But to me, who do you think? Is what do you think is going to be the big matchup for tonight?
Even, you know, Keith, even though they won't be guarding each other head to head, I think that this game, the 7th seed is going to be won or lost on who controls the game. You know, and the guy who controls it for the 76ers has obviously been Joel Embiid, the guy who controls it obviously for, especially in the playoffs. You know, if Jimmy Butler's getting ready to, you know, to jump out of the phone booth in his Superman outfit. You know, you hope that that's the matchup. You know, it's who is going to meet the challenge and carry their team, you know, to the 7th seed and a first round meeting with the overrated New York Knicks. And I do believe, you know, my heart and my head, more so my head, tells me that this is, you know, that there's just no answer for Joel Embiid. Having said that, there's usually no answer for Jimmy Butler in the playoffs. I mean, there wasn't an answer for him last year until they ran into Denver in the NBA championship round. But I am going to go definitively with Joel Embiid. I think Joel Embiid is the key here. I think, and you know, and newsflash, that's not elite level thinking, but I just think it's the reality situation. I think if Joel comes out and stays healthy, it almost becomes, I think, Joel Embiid playing against himself at this point. I think, if he doesn't tweak something, if he's not call and get out of the game, and unfortunately, that's the caveat that is attached to him. Um, but I do think that this is Joel against Jimmy Butler. Jimmy's going to bring it. From the moment they tip it, Jimmy's going to bring it, and so I think that's the biggest matchup. And I think that Joel is going to be the Joel we've been seeing for the better part of this regular season when he's out there.
Yeah. He should. I think we're going to see a lot from Joel. I mean, the fun, not the funny thing, but the one thing is we talk about Joel and Jimmy, and neither one of these guys really played a lot against
Yeah.
each other. Like they played 4 games, both of them only played in the final game, right, of the series this season.
Hmm.
So they both missed the first 3, right? So when you look at it, like, what can the Sixers do? I mean, we talk about, can they contain Butler, right? Um, will they have to contend with Bam Adebayo, right? Will they be able to shut down Tyler Hero and Duncan Robbins, right?
Hmm.
So there's a lot of things that they have to do on their plate. But, it is true that it's going to come down to them. But at the same time, I also wonder with Tyrese Maxey, um, being a guy who had to lead the Sixers basically when Embiid was injured and,
Hmm.
scoring all these points. And his ability to close out at certain times, especially when Embiid came back, is that going to give him the confidence to take another step forward? Because, in their last 2 games, when the Sixers won 98-91 on March the 18th at the Wells Fargo Center, Maxey had 30 points, 10 assists, and 8 rebounds, right? Then the All Star guard had 37 points, 11 assists, and 9 rebounds, while Embiid added 29 points and 3 assists on April the 4th in Miami,
Hmm.
right? Now,
He was lethal.
Maxey, like I said before, mentioned, he's, huh?
He was
He
lethal in
was
that
what?
game. He was lethal. He was lethal in
He
that
was
game.
lethal. Yeah, he was. Now, here's the thing: for in the 4 games against the Heat this season, he averaged 27.3 points, 8.3 assists, and 6.5 rebounds. Now, Butler only played 1 game against the Sixers, and that was the game on April 4th, like we said. And he had almost had a triple double. He had 20 points, 10 rebounds, and 8 assists, right? So,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? It's crazy. Now, the one thing that you did say about Jimmy is how we call him playoff Jimmy, right? So, this is his career averages. He averages 18.3 points, 5.3 rebounds, and 4.3 assists while shooting 32.9% on 3 pointers in 813 career regular season games. Now, in the playoffs, he averages, and this is 119 playoff games, his average has went up to 21.3 points,
Hmm.
6.2 rebounds, and 4.6 assists while shooting 34.7% on 3. Now, here's the thing that people in Philly remember because we saw it firsthand against the Sixers 2 seasons ago. In the second round playoff series against the Sixers, Butler averaged 27.5 points, 7.5 rebounds, and 5.5 assists. So,
Hmm.
that thing about playoff Jimmy is real. So,
Yeah.
when you say that's what you want to see between those two, I'm with you. I'm
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah. And I think that's what you're going to see. I would love to see what Jimmy Butler averages in the fourth quarter, man. Because I remember watching him last year taking apart the Celtics, man. In fourth quarters of games. Um, yeah, he is. Jimmy is elite, and he goes Jekyll and Hyde, and what he does in the NBA playoffs is what we have been clamoring for Joel to do in the playoffs. To get to the playoffs and ramp it up, and again, that is where we are with Joel. This as we go into this playoff right here, you want to see him ramp it up I believe Joel will. I have the confidence that Joel will indeed ramp it up. So, right now, let's talk a little bit about one of our sponsors, Nissan. Are you the kind of driver that likes to push things a little further? Ever wonder what adventure could be around the next corner? Our friends at Nissan have a lineup of SUVs with the capabilities to take your adventure to the next level. Take, for instance, the 2024 Nissan Rogue. The Rogue is perfect for city drives and great escapes. Class exclusive, Google built in is your always updating assistant to call on for almost anything. Gone are the days of connecting your phone. Google Assistant, Google Maps, and Google Play Store are built right into the 12.3-inch high definition touchscreen infotainment system. The 2024 Rogue is the perfect midsize crossover for your next adventure. What about the 2024 Nissan Pathfinder? Pathfinder has room for up to 8, an expansive cargo capacity, and advanced available 4x4 capability. With 284 horsepower and up to 6,000 pounds towing, when adventure calls, the Pathfinder is there to answer. So take the Nissan Rogue and Nissan Pathfinder, and don't forget about that big, beautiful Nissan Armada as well, and go find your next big adventure. Shop nissanusa.com. We've all been there, either as a player or a fan. It's halftime, and the scoreboard is not looking good. You're feeling low, not sure how you or your team can pull out a win. That's when you dig deep. Lift your head up and say to yourself, time to get back in the game, pull off some bank heists, and take as much of my friends' money as I possibly can. That's right, the smash hit mobile game, Monopoly Go, lets you compete with your friends to get the most riches and the biggest empire. It's the Monopoly you love, but on your phone anytime with tons of new twists, including leaderboards to compare your progress to your buddies. There's so much to do. Play on countless dynamic Monopoly boards. Make your friends bankrupt by smashing their landmarks with a wrecking ball. Charge other players rent for your iconic properties. You can even work with your friends to crack open community chests and in tournaments to get extra rewards and climb the leaderboard. So get back out there, put on your game face, and download Monopoly Go. Now free on the App Store or Google Play.
Do it today, folks. Definitely do it today. Now
Definitely.
here's this. Yeah, definitely, right? Now
Yeah.
here's the thing, man. I gotta ask you. So, we talk about heat culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
We talk about, as heat culture is described as like, you know, I mean, first of all, you got some players who don't want to do it, other players who want to. They live for it. But when you talk to people and they rave over it, and they describe as heat culture is the hardest working, best conditioned, most professional, unselfish, toughest, meanest, nastiest team in the NBA. And it's like, there's certain rules that in regards to staying in shape and doing this and that, and you got to get a lot of buy-in. And certain people think that it's kind of like these guys, they all buy in and they're all one, and that's enabled them to win multiple championships regardless of who has been the star player.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you believe in heat culture?
Man, yeah, I'm kind of bought in, man. You and I were talking off record, off air, and I was saying that if I were just looking at organizations over the last 10 years or so, and that includes, we went to string of success that Golden State has had. But if you were just as a fan and if somebody who wants to see pro athletes busting their humps and getting it done, um, I believe in heat culture. And having covered them for years, and cover them in playoff games. I remember covering them against Dwayne Wade when Dwayne Wade was rising there. I never will forget one time when I was covering the Wizards in the playoff game with Gilbert and those guys used to get to the playoffs. Dwayne had a fourth quarter and went 8 for 8, and that was kind of his escalation, to the elite level. So I believe in it. I believe there's a buy-in to it. And I think a lot of it, honestly, is associated with Pat Riley. Pat Riley brought, when he was in LA, it was the Showtime Lakers. Everybody knew they were gritty and grimy. And with the Lake, with the Heat, he brings an element of grit and grime. That you go to you go to Miami and they got the prettiest people in America walking around the arena. And it's this beautiful, this beautiful oasis. But the team is, you just sense that when you walk in, and you know what I'm talking about, Keith, when you're walking around in the back rooms of the building, man, it just seems like there's a seriousness in the air there at all times. And I think that Heat culture, it does stem from Pat Riley. It grows out of Pat Riley. He's sitting up there like the Don, sitting in the arena like he's the Don, checking things out. And there's just a seriousness there, and I mean, Jimmy Butler embraced it when he left here. Publicly he embraced it. He may have gone, when he went there, he talked about the differences that he saw between Philadelphia and Miami and the organization. So yeah, I'm completely bought in, man. And they get these guys, and guys play up. But I mean, you look at Bam. I don't think people expected Bam to be as good as he is. I didn't expect Tyler Hero to be as good as he is. I didn't expect Caleb Martin to come as a player and continue to get better the way he's gotten. So yeah, I'm bought in with what I see there with player development and all that stuff, Keith. I'm bought in on that.
Yeah, I think though it's not for everybody, right?
It's not.
I think it's cool. I think that in today's era of players, where
Very good point.
Let's face it, player empowerment is the word, right? Where they do whatever they want. Like if you don't, if things don't go your way,
yeah.
I mean, I mean, like, put it this way. Nowadays, I hate to say this, the biggest thing that is one of the worst jobs in the NBA to have is to be a young PR director.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about sports media guy.
Mm-hmm.
Because what happens is, if a player doesn't want to talk and you want him to do media and he like, I don't feel like doing it. And the thing is, that player is making a lot of money. You're not making a lot of money. And what happens is, if that player is the star of the team and you keep saying, hey, I need you to do your job, what they're supposed to do, the next thing you know, that PR director is going to be gone. And they're going to bring in another one. Mm-hmm. Like, I hate to say it, because that player, they know, like, especially if that guy has like 2 or fewer years left on his 2 or less years left on his contract, talking about the star player. Well, the team wants that player to come back. And they're not going to let anybody get in the way of that player coming back. So if you keep asking them about doing these media availabilities, especially when that's part of his job, what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah.
So what they'll do is, if the league may fine them, the team $10,000, but we're talking about billionaires, but they're going to keep that guy happy. So that happens a lot across the league, a lot. But so players have the power. In Miami, Pat Riley has the power.
Yeah.
The organization has the power. So in this age, a lot of dudes don't want to go down there. What you mean, man? I got to run. What you mean? I got to talk to the media. What you mean? I got to do this. I got to do that. Yeah. If you want to be a part of this team, you have to do it. So it's not for everyone, but I do think it's pretty good. There's been a lot of guys. Now, the problem is with the Heat, whatever they doing, that Jedi mind trick stuff, is you go down there and they get like a fringe player. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, he turns into a key contributor on their team. But then that fringe player, you'll get traded to another squad, get some money, and you think that dude going to do the same? Nah, I don't know what it is down there, but they have these guys playing out of their mind.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they go other places, and it's sort of a struggle for them.
Yeah. It's definitely, and again, I think a lot of it originates with Pat Riley, you know. But listen, it's playoff time in the NBA and NHL. Baseball's in full swing, and FanDuel is your place to bet on every game. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets, guaranteed. That's $150, win or lose. Bet on everything, from slap shots to home runs to slam dunks, all on the app that is safe, secure, and easy to use. So what are you waiting for? Visit fanduel.com/lockedon and make your first bet an automatic win. That's FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. And also, I passed over on this one. I want to bring it to your attention that it's Locked On, NFL's mock draft, live on April 17th at 7 Eastern Time, streaming on the Locked On Sports Today 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app. Find the ultimate 6-episode series on April 17th at 7 o'clock Eastern Time to hear who local Locked On experts are picking for every NFL franchise, with live reactions from local college football experts and even the fantasy football angle. The Locked On NFL Mock Draft on April 17th at 7 Eastern Time, streaming live on Locked On Sports Today, 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app.
Yeah. So, Mitch, we've been talking back and forth about everything. Do you think? Well, actually, who do you think will win? I'm just gonna be blunt, put it out there. Who do you think?
Man. I'm
going back and forth personally.
I'm going back and forth too, but I'm going to go with the home team. I'm going to go with the home team. I
You're
had
a homer, dude. You're a homer.
I put the hat because people in the comment section say, particularly you, I think they don't understand that you have to be an unbiased observer to do your job.
You listen to people calling me a hater.
They do, man. That's Keith Pompey, hateration. But look, like I bought my cup too, man. I'm trying to give him the good juju. I guess if I have all this regalia on, the 76ers regalia, I guess I have to say the 76ers are going to win.
You got your mug too?
I got the mug, man. Listen, it's got the sticker on the bottom too, because I just recently purchased it not long ago. So I think the Sixers are going to win this game, man. I think they can't come out half-stepping. They can't come out playing tiddlywinks. They got to start early. Joel has to get started early. I think Maxey, I don't think, I think not having Terry Rozier is going to be an issue for them. Another guy, we talk about that heat culture, another guy who steps up is Tyler Hero in these moments. But Duncan Robinson playing with short lower back. So let me stop beating around the BS bush and go with what I think is going to happen. I think that the 76ers will win. I see they're like 4-point favorites, 4.5-point favorites. I think that they're going to play a very complete game. I think that Nick Nurse is going to have them ready. I think guys are going to step up. I think when we talk about this tomorrow, we will be talking about how even guys like, Kyle Lowry against his old team played well. And I do believe that I really believe that Tyrese Maxey is going to embrace this moment right here. He's been on an ascending plane the entire season. I don't see any reason for that to stop here. He's coming off a 37-point effort against them. And I'm actually going to go with I'm going to be the homer. I'm going to be that homer and go with the 76ers, man. But it ain't going. It's not going to be easy.
Well, I don't mean to mess up your day or anybody else's day.
It's not my day; it's their day.
I don't mean to mess up their day, but I think the Sixers are going to win too. But here's the deal. I mean, I look at it like this.
Keith, you the hater. You can't roll with the Sixers.
I know I can't roll with them.
Can't roll with the Sixers.
But here's the thing. This is the thing. This is what I think is going to happen. Something that a lot of people don't pay attention to is Nico Batum. The last time that they played, well, when they played in March, they put Nico on Duncan. Duncan Robinson was just raining threes. They put Nico on Duncan, and that shit stopped. Like it was just done, right?
Yeah.
And then and then what happened is a lot of people was thinking, "Oh, it's just a fluke. It's this and that." Well, then the next game they had them playing them a lot, guarding them a lot, and the dude couldn't do anything. So I think that's key right then and there. I also think that as much as Jimmy is a dominant factor, you can't keep continuing to expect him to do this over and over and over again. After a while, these injuries start adding up, and so do Father Time, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to give them something to be motivated off of. It's just what it is. Now, the thing about Bam is Bam's too small for Embiid. And the last time that Bam, as good as Bam is, but the last time he played here, Mo Bamba and Paul Reed was giving it to him a little bit, right? So that's the factor. Now the Sixers, it is going to be some tough things with the zone defense. You got and Hero, because Hero didn't play in most of these games either.
Right.
So you got to keep a constant eye on him. But the key thing to me is Terry Rozier not playing is going to hurt them, because Terry Rozier was the one who was giving the Sixers the business the last game. And you traded Kyle Lowry to get Terry Rozier because you felt that Terry was a better fit and a guy who could get you to the chip. And he ain't playing tonight. So to me, all those things look like a Sixers win. Joel Embiid had X amount of days off for his knee. He was a full participant at practice. All the stuff that they did, basically they doing a 2-man game with Embiid and Maxey, and everybody else got to get in where they fit in. I feel like it's going to be a good one. I mean, it's going to be Embiid and Maxey going to dominate, and everybody else is going to lock people up. But the key is your boy Tobias.
You putting it on Tobias again?
Yeah, he got to be aggressive, man. He got to be aggressive.
He does.
You got to be aggressive, And real quick, there was a video, post-game video somebody sent me yesterday after, I believe it was the Detroit game, where Joel was asked about Kelly, and he came out and said Kelly was the third best player on the team in the video, right? And I was like, "Are y'all sure he said that?" And like, yeah. Do you look into that? I mean, do you make much out of that?
Him saying that he was the third best player. You know what? No, I hope that because I still think Tobias is the third best player on the team. But Oubre has. I mean, in the NBA market, I would say Tobias is the third best player on the team. But Oubre has played right there with him, and Oubre has, over the last 2 months, when they've needed somebody to step up, man, damn, I mean, we saw that one game where he blocked 5 shots. He just played better defenses. He's and he plays with that gumption that you have to have. So is he the third best player? It's man, you can definitely make that argument. You definitely can make that argument. He's been the third best player.
And right now, you could look at it 2 ways. Joel said just to say Tobias, get your act in gear.
Yeah.
Or it's like, he has been playing like that recently. I mean, he's been their third best option as of late, and that's just because, I think Tobias might be the third best player, but I think Kelly might be the third best option because Tobias is struggling, or he has been struggling. And Kelly has been active, and
Yep.
Kelly plays well. So
Yep.
we'll see.
Yep.
We'll see. But look, y'all, Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and now it's also available on Amazon Fire TV and the free Fire TV channel app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On Plus, our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today now available in the free Fire TV app. Also, we want to thank y'all for making Locked On 76ers your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. And we would like to say bye. We both think the Sixers are going to win.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it'll be a boat race. I think it'll be a lean at the
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be like Overbrook leaning on
West
West Philly
Philly.
High. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's going to be one of those. So, but all right, y'all. We appreciate y'all. We want y'all to have a blessed day. Peace.
Peace, y'all.
You are Locked On 76ers, your daily Philadelphia 76ers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every